Hello guys, welcome to our fourth tutorial, and we are building our Notes app and it's coming out great. So what I'll do here is I'll just go to the MVVM folder and create some of the files that we need. So I'll just name it Notes View Model. Okay, and I'll just create one more Notes repository and Notes Factory View Model. So I'll try to explain also that why do we need a repository. Repository we need because when we are fetching data from the data access object and the database, then we are storing it in our repository, and then we are accessing this repository in our view model to uh, fetch display the data. So it works like this. This is database. I shouldn't be writing here, but I'm just showing you. And then data access object helps us to work on our database, and then we store through the methods of DAO into our repository, and we attach that data with our views in the view model. So if you want to note that or take a screenshot of it, you can. I'll just delete it. So now what we'll do here is we will work on our repository class, and here what I'll do is I'll just create a constructor here while DAO nodes DAO. Okay, so this has the reference, so whenever we are going to use our repository, we will get an access to our data access object too, which is essential. Okay, so to display all nodes, we are storing from our database to our repository all nodes. And if you remember, then in our data access object we were returning the list, so here also we have to have a list. Oh wow. Okay, there is some error. Okay, yes. So what I'll do here is return DAO dot get all nodes, and if we can go back here, then you can see here DAO has this method. Now it's obviously active, so it's not grayed out. Okay, going back to repository to insert node, we'll just do the same, but obviously we are using Kotlin coroutine, so we have to include the suspend word. Okay, return, no, this will not have a return type. Insert node, and we'll just add that here. Update node, and here to update nodes. Okay, delete node. Okay, and Here what we have to do is delete all. DAO dot delete all. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we'll do here is, okay, this is done, and now I'll just go to my view model. And what I'll do here is I will take a reference of my repository now and also extend it to view model. Okay, great. But at the same time, because our view model class has a parameter or argument in its constructor, so the best practice is that we use ViewModelFactory, and this is also a boilerplate code that I will take from my previous yeah, the only reason I'm using this because the best practice is, one, if you have a parameter or argument into your parameter for your view model in your constructor, then you have to create a factory view model. So here I'm just going to replace all this, and here, okay, so this shows that we have the repository, and here if we can go in here, and we have also given repository, so that's good. Now we will work on our view model. So here what I'll do is I'll first of all create some variables, and here you will see the data binding, the power of data binding, and mutable live data list. No list, it's mutable live data string. Okay, and now what I'll do here is I'll just input title, input subtitle, input note text. So what I've done is that these mutable live data, we will set these into our wherever we need it, especially in the create node, to capture the values of these added taxes. And here what we'll do is I'll just add data variable view model, reference it here, example the node app MVVM dot nodes view model, and what I'll do here is to apply data binding. I'm just going to, and not only data binding but two-way data binding. If you only want to display the value on edit text, then use this, but if you want the text whatever is written and you want it reversed back to you, then you can use that equal to sign also before the curly braces. So this is the title. Same thing I'll do here is input subtitle. So this is setting and also getting at the same time. You see, no use of we did not use any kind of view ID or something. Okay, that's great. This is good. Okay, now we'll just quickly go back to our main activity where we can see that if I have created the main activity, okay, so what I have to do is from home fragment I'll just get this binding.fab means our floating action button, and what I want is I want to open, because by the end of this tutorial I want to show you something. We want to go from home fragment to create node fragment, and so yeah, this is great. And now what I'll do here is I'll just maybe go to the view model and also at the same time create node fragment, because we are binding dot, yeah. So what we have done is that if we click the floating action button on home fragment, then we are directed to our what do you call that, create node fragment, yeah. So we have created these three values, variables, where we are going to save our get and set data from on our edit taxes here. Okay, now I'll just create a method where we can okay, so there is this error of something. There is a problem with SQL missing syntax error. Well, I'll just go and check what's the error there. Okay, database. No. Repositories. Maybe some error here somewhere. Okay, yeah, because we run the app and we did not like do some work, I think that is why it's not running. But I'll just not run the app for now. If yeah, so what I'll just do is I'll just keep on working and display all nodes is equal to repository and all nodes. So this will display nodes for us. Add nodes. How about making this tutorial a little longer? So what we can do is we can just keep on working and maybe try to run something, okay, and log the values, because we cannot display it on home fragment now because we need the adapter for that. I'll just create some variables, while title, input title. So input title's value is going to be stored in this title because we are creating a note. Subtitle, input subtitle, and note text is going to be taken from note text. So here I will create a function fun insert note notes dot view model scope dot launch. Dot launch. Okay, this block is here, and in this block okay, so now what I'll do here is I'll just go to my repository and insert notes, and boom, we are done. Okay, so here I'll just reference this insert node in the add node, and what it's going to do is it's requiring the nodes object instance, and the ID, obviously the first node is going to start from 0, So that's there, and double exclamation sign is the sign of like it's not null value. So yeah, I think yeah, that's it. We are pretty much done for it, and what we'll do is I'll just try to um, yeah, what I'll do is I'll just go back to create node fragment, because here I'm going to, or maybe yes, here in create node fragment I'll do is I will initialize my view model first. Let init var view model is going to be is equal to, is a type of, sorry, not is equal to. Okay, and what I'll do here is while DAO nodes database get instance, because we had passed, it was a boilerplate code, so that is why I did not get to explain to you that we are passing an application context into this database. So that is why we need that in our wherever we use the database or initialize our data access object. So here what we'll do is require context node style. Okay, that's great. Now there is our repository nodes repository, and if you remember, it is expecting DAO, because if I can take you back to it, then it has here the nodes like DAO uh, instance. So what not instance, like a parameter in this. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just go back to create node fragment, and this is done also. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll just create a factory where we have nodes factory view model, and what value it has is repository. Even though I copied like two like or three layouts and few classes codes, I'm still showing you that where what value is present. So for example, nodes factory view model has the parameter of repository, right? That constructor. So what we have done is that we have done the same here, so which is great. And now we'll just come to our view model provider this factory, and get view model class Java. Okay, that's great. Now one more thing, view model is equal to going to be view model. Now what is this? Because if I can take you back here, then this layout we are using data binding, so this variable needs to have like a backup, if I can say, like it needs somewhere to be, it has to be attached somewhere, right? It has to be attached to something. So that is why it's here that I have attached this. And binding, because we are using the life cycle, like we are using live data, so it has to be observant of the live data, and this will help us to do that. Okay, once the note is done, what I want is, if it's successful, then I want it to take me to navigate it to home fragment to no, we are in create fragment and we want to go to, we can also display one toast message that note saved toast length short show. So now what this will do is this will redirect us to our like the home fragment, and obviously we will not see the notes there, but what I can do here is maybe try to log those values in the, if we come here to home fragment and we have to like um, yeah, initialize at least our view model. So I'll just go to my create node because I want to show you, that is why this tutorial is a little bit longer. So I'll just do the same thing here, just get this and put this in my home fragment. So these are two not needed, I think, because on home fragment we are, I think we are using data binding there, but not the view model, I guess. We'll see later. Okay, so what I have done here is I have just got the access. So what I'll just do here is that this display note is going to return, because from view model when we have this display note, and I don't have the time to like I told you many times that this display node is displaying from repository, it is repository is getting from database, database is getting from data access object. So what I'll just do is I'll just log and data fetched, I'll just log it. If we have the note in the database, then once we click save after creating note, then we should see something. So yeah, moment of truth is arriving. I have run my app. So we have some kind of error, and I will look what is the error here. Okay, some sort of error is here. There is a problem with the query. Okay, so in here, yes, so I think one of these queries are not correct, and I have to see that what is the problem here. Okay, yeah, this is the problem here, that the star has to be here. And now if I run the app, there are going to be no problems, hopefully, but if there are, then we can fix them. Everything can be fixed, and if you are a developer, you need to have a pretty aggressive approach towards here, that never give up. So I'll just pause it, and I think this is building successfully, and once the display comes up, we have done a lot in this tutorial. I think this was the fourth tutorial where we were going to implement MVVM, and now our app has started. Okay, going to main activity. This toast was there when I had created, so I'll just click. Okay, my first note, I'm typing, and what I'm hoping is that we can log these values. First note, my first subtitle, my first text. I'll just, okay, clicking save. Okay, that means note is saved, and our all the work that we have done is like not in vain. So what I'll just do is that I will, to see that note, if it is like, obviously if it was not created successfully, then we would not like see the note saved, but still, just to double check, we are back on our home fragment, and what I'll do is I'll just search. Okay, this is showing empty because yeah, maybe we have not like fetched or something, right? Or this code has a problem, but we can fix it later. But if I can just maybe take a moment here to see. Okay, yeah. mm, Add notes. I think this method, okay, yeah, there is a problem here. What I'll do here is, yeah, one thing we forgot to do is the use of this method. So in this one, the reason I had initialized view more, okay. So now what I'll do is I'll just, the node was not saved, even though it showed not saved because the button was successful, the save button. But actual method of the view model where it was adding the nodes into the system was not executed because we did not call. So yeah, we are back on our uh, splash screen, and then we'll just simply my first node, my first sub, my first text. Okay, so I'll just click save. Now what I'll do is I'll just go to logcat and see. Okay, so yeah, if I can minimize this, you can see here the ID is 1, my first node, subtitle, my first sub, all this is logging. That means this is successful and our database is working, and the only work is remaining is the little things that we have to do is we have to display the nodes in the list form, we have to create an adapter and all that, and we have to create a click listener and editing functionalities. But the main task, the main thing is done in less than like an hour. Okay, so congrats to you if you have made it so far, and if you have any questions, you can always DM me on Instagram. Thank you guys, see you in the next one.